I wanted to show you two really cool features of Excel using the autofill fill series option and the flash fill option. So let's say, for example, in this first column, you have a column where you want to put numbers for each employee. So let's say in column B, you have the employee names. And in column A, you just want to put a number for each employee, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. So one way that you can do that is to use the fill handle, which is right here at the bottom right-hand corner of the cell. It's a little box. And if you put your cursor over it, it is a plus sign. So if I pull that down, it's just going to give me 1 and fill in that value. But I can go here to the autofill options, and I can choose to fill a series. So when you do that, it recognizes that it should be a series of numbers and assumes that it should just increment by 1 like this. Okay. The other way that you can do that is to type in the first 2 numbers that you want to use and then highlight those 2 numbers. And Excel is going to say, okay, what's the difference between those 2 numbers? It's 1. So it will increment the list by 1 value, okay, or by 1 in the values. So then it will increment these by 1 when it fills in the series. So the same would be if you had a series where you wanted to increment by 2. So you just highlight the first 2 numbers and drag that down, and it recognizes that you want to increment by 2. So this is a little bit different number format. Let's say you have different trainings each month. And in the month of May, which is month 5, you had multiple trainings and you want to number each of them, starting with 5 for May, since it's the 5th month, and then give each one a number in consecutive order. So all you have to do is to drag that down, and it automatically increments those second values. Now, if for some reason you didn't want it to do that, you can still go to those autofill options and tell it to just copy the cells, which would be the first value that we used. So in that case, let's choose to fill the series, but you can always tell it that you don't want it to use that autofill option for the series. It works really well with months and days of the week. So, for example, for this one, I've got the abbreviation for January in all caps. So if I drag that over, it's going to recognize that format, and it's going to format all of those in the same way that I formatted the first one. And notice that it will start the months over in the incrementing when it fills in the series. So I can do the same here. And the same here for the days of the week. And you can, if you want it, you can do these multiple cells at a time. Just highlight the first one and then drag those over. It will also recognize headings such as quarter 1, for example, and this is the abbreviation. So it will recognize that, and it knows that there are only 4 quarters that can occur, so it will start the quarters over after it hits that point. So that's the autofill, auto series option. So let's look at the flash fill, and this is one I think is really cool, and it comes in handy quite often, at least for me. So let's say I have this data here, and I've imported it somewhere that has put it into sort of a comma delimited format where everything is separated by a comma. So each value here is separated by a comma. So I have my last name, first name of the faculty member, the rank, the tenure, and the degree or area of expertise for that faculty member. So I want to take it out of this format and break it up and include it in these columns. So instead of copying and pasting, you can go in and use the flash fill. So notice I don't have my data directly next to this. It will work a few columns over. So all I'm going to do is start typing in the last name of the first person and then the second last name. And you can see once you finish the name, it may go away. So I'm going to hold it right there. So it recognizes that second person as being a value in the list in column F. And you can see it's filling in the rest of the values there. So that's what I want. I'm going to press enter and it will fill those values. I'm going to do the same thing for the first name. There we go. It recognizes the rest of the values from column F, and I'll press enter there. Okay. Recognizes the rank or title. And notice here for tenure, the first two values are the same, so it's not quite sure what to do with those yet until I get to this point. Then when I hit that hyphen, it recognizes that I'm pulling from the list in column F. Press enter. And there we go. That was a very quick way of pulling that data from a comma delimited list like this. So then I could just delete this list if I needed to. So I hope you find lots of ways to use those features in Excel, and I hope those come in very handy in the future for you.